This is a residential homestead exemption application. This is so easy. The data is in, and the biggest tax relief package in world history has just passed. This is absolutely wonderful news, especially if you're a resident in the state that just passed this. Now, property tax liability has been exploding across the nation and putting additional financial burden on current homeowners. Now, the property tax relief passed in Texas, and hopefully other states will see exactly what Texas has just done and do the same thing themselves. Because one thing that needs to happen right now is owning property needs to become more affordable for the common American. And today we're going to go into exactly what Texas did, when exactly it's going to become law. I'll show you how much money this is going to save me personally, and I'll also show you guys how to file something called a residential homestead, which allows you to take advantage of certain property tax relief. It's actually very easy to do, at least in my local county. This article came out August 13th, so yesterday morning. Austin Governor Greg Abbott this week ceremonially signed legislation delivering the largest property tax cut in Texas history. According to some articles, this is the biggest tax cut in world history at $18 billion, passed during special session number 2. The governor was joined at the historic bill signing by Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick and some other people. Now, he goes on to say, today I'm signing a law that will ensure more than $18 billion in property tax cuts. This is huge for Texas residents. The largest property tax cut in Texas history. If passed by voters this fall, it's important to know that just because they passed it, as voters, we still have to pass this November 7th. Texas homestead exemptions will raise to $100,000. Senior homeowners will be protected from being priced out of their home. The small business exemption for the franchise tax will double, and Texas small businesses will be protected from excess appraisal increases. Now, this is really, really big deal, you guys, because not only is this helping homeowners with primary residences, but this also helps investors, right? So if you have a rental property, this actually helps you as well. So it's really, really astonishing. You may remember I actually pulled up a property tax bill for a property I used to own. I had owner financing. I no longer have that. The owners paid off the loan, but my property taxes went up $80,000 approximately. I think it was like 25 or 30%. I can't remember exactly, but $80,000, you guys. In other words, it's a lot of money. So this tax relief package actually benefits everyone. What an amazing thing. And honestly, guys, I didn't think they would pull this off. I thought it was for show to get votes. I thought there would be a lot of arguing back and forth, but they actually pulled this off. Again, so long as enough people voted in on November 7th. Senate Bill 2 provides property tax relief through tax rate compression. That's important to understand that. An increase in the homestead exemption and a pilot project limiting the growth in appraised values. For tax year 2023, this will save the average Texas homestead over $1,200. That is a big deal. Texas homestead owners over 65 or with a disability should see over $1,400 in savings. This is great. Senate Bill 2 is designed for primary residential tax relief, not really investment properties. So look at Senate Bill 3. Senate Bill 3 law increases the franchise tax no tax due threshold to $2.47 million and removes burdensome filing requirements for those who do not owe taxes. The constitutional amendment to provide the largest property tax cut in Texas history will be added to the Texas Constitution if approved by a simple majority of Texas voters on November 7th, 2023. So if you live in Texas and you own a house, raise your hand if you're not going to vote for this. This is pretty much a slam dunk. So congratulations. Another reason why it's so wonderful to live in Texas. I live in Houston. Obviously, the humidity is not wonderful. The bugs aren't wonderful, but I absolutely love this place. I can't believe they passed this, you guys. To me, it's charming. It's charismatic. I absolutely love it. Now what I want to do is I'm going to go into another article. It's going to go into the leading questions about this new relief, and it's going to give us some answers. This article is from KVUE ABC. This will be linked in my description. It's titled Answering Your Questions About Texas Lawmakers' $18 billion property tax relief. Couple good questions here. What does the homestead exemption mean? Answer: a general residential homestead is available for taxpayers who own and reside at a property as of January 1st of the year, and it must be your primary residence. I really want to make that clear. You can generally only have one homestead exemption, and that applies to your primary residence, meaning you must live in the property. It cannot be a rental. Next question is will it be on your 2024 taxes? If the plan passes November 7th, remember, the bill, if it passes November 7th, which, come on, guys, it's going to pass, right? It will take effect for the 2023 tax year. Now, that's amazing, you guys, and you probably wondered, how can that possibly take effect this year? But remember, property tax bills are generally issued around January of the preceding year. In other words, we're not going to have our 2023 tax bill until the start of 2024. So the really, really amazing thing about this is they could have snuck that under the door, but these guys are pushing this through fast enough as homeowners in Texas to get the tax relief this year. I mean, you guys, when I'm sitting back and I'm thinking about this, and there's a lot I don't know, I understand that, but to me, this is successful politics helping the actual voters. I am so proud of my state right now. Essentially in Texas, you guys, a lot of the property taxes goes towards paying off the school district. So essentially, money has been taken out of the school district and given back to the homeowners. Public schools are funded by property tax revenue. That is huge in Texas. So how will they be funded if this new relief bill passes? Now, here's a very, very cool thing here. There is a hold harmless clause in the bill to ensure that schools get the same amount of money. That is a big, big deal because that's how Texas is structured. So the state will make up the difference on what the schools would have gotten in property tax revenue. That's huge. So in other words, if the school districts suffer in any way, if they're not getting enough money to budget, the state will step in and fund the schools. You guys, that is great news. Next question. My property has a remaining value of less than $100,000. With the new tax exemption, does it mean I would no longer pay property taxes on my property? The answer is a little bit confusing, but remember, exemptions don't apply to how much left you have on your mortgage. They apply to the taxable value of your home, which is determined by the property appraisal. So for example, if a home is valued at $200,000 and this plan becomes law, you would only pay school taxes on $100,000. So right now in Texas, we get roughly $40,000 homestead tax deduction. So it would essentially go from $40,000 to $100,000. And let me show you guys how exactly that would work. So I just bought a $300,000 house. Let's say I bought this house in August of this year of 2023. Okay. Now the first thing I have to do is I have to file homestead. Now, the thing is, guys, is I cannot, unless I'm a veteran on disability, I cannot file a homestead immediately. I have to file a homestead in January of the next year. So if I purchased August of 2023, that means the soonest I can file my homestead is January 2024. Do y'all see how that works? This would have to be my primary residence. And how this would work is essentially I would get a reduction of $100,000 off of the value of my house, which would equal an assessed value of $200,000. And again, this is called assessed value. We have $100,000 less on what we would have to pay taxes on. Now, my property tax rate on my investment property is 3.52%. So let me show you what property taxes would be at 3%. And I know, guys, taxes are a lot in Texas, but you know what? To me, it's worth it because the schools are usually really, really good when I compare it to where I'm from, which is California. If the taxes were 3%, you would basically multiply 3% by 200,000, which would mean my yearly taxes would be $6,000. Let's see what it would be without the new plan. So we start with 300,000. Now remember, the current homestead break is $40,000. So the new one again would be going up to $100,000. This would make my assessed value $260,000 instead of $200,000. Now, when we multiply that by a 3% tax rate, it goes from $6,000 to $7,800. Okay, so in this situation, I'm saving an additional $1,800 annually per year. Very, very, very amazing, you guys. So going back to the questions, it seems too good to be true. Is there something hidden in the tax relief bill that would keep homeowners from voting for it? Yes, this seems too good to be true because it is a deal for the average homeowner. That's why this is so bonkers, you guys. This is helping the normal people, the little guy. How crazy. But remember, voters still have to approve it, and Texas has a low voter turnout rate, especially in non-presidential election years. But I could tell you guys, if people are going to save money, they're going to get out and vote. If voters don't approve this constitutional amendment tied to this in November, it won't happen. So if you live in Texas, you guys better get out there and you better vote this thing in so we all save money. Now, this is a good question. With my current homestead exemption increased from $40,000 to $100,000 under the new bill, will my property tax increase still be capped at 10% each year, as it has been in the past, or will I be subject to the 20% cap that applies to properties valued at less than $5 million? The answer is yes. The taxable value of your home can only go up 10% year over year. The 20% cap only applies to other property that are valued at less than $5 million. So rental properties, small businesses, and other parcels of land would be subject to a 20% cap. Basically, we get $100,000 off our assessed value as long as this passes. There's a 10% cap on primary residences, and that means basically the assessed value can only go up 10%, and the assessed value for non-primary residences under 5 million can only go up 20%. That's really, really, really important, you guys, because people get hit with ridiculous property tax bills. Now, what I'm hoping is this leads the way to other states to provide relief to the homeowners. Hopefully it will happen in places like Florida. Now, what I want to do real quick is show you exactly how to file a homestead, and this will be very quick. Now, the process varies depending on what state and depending on what county. If you purchased a property, you want to go to your county's appraisal district. I'll show you now. Now, because I live in Houston, Houston's in Harris, so I went to the Harris County Appraisal District. You guys can see that right here. Now, once I'm on the appraisal district, all I do, y'all, is go to online services and click homestead. This is so easy for people to do. And then after that, it's basically an automated system. It's so easy, you guys. I really hope you're doing this. And again, if you haven't done this, you better do this right now. If you own a property, you have not filed your homestead, you're paying more money than you have to. Please, you guys, make sure you filed the right paperwork. Now, in order to file in Texas and Harris County, you need the date of your residency, which is probably going to be on your closing disclosure or your deed or your note or something along those lines. Number 2, you need a Texas driver's license. And number 3, either an iPhone or Android. Number 4, the HCAD info and exemptions app, which can be found online at the App Store or Google Play. They make this so easy. This can literally take you guys 10 to 15 minutes to do. Now, if you don't have an Android and you don't have an iPhone, here's what the form looks like. This is a residential homestead exemption application. This is so easy. It may look overwhelming, but I can reassure you guys, it's definitely not. If you feel overwhelmed by looking at this, just do one question at a time. And basically, y'all, it's asking what type of residential homestead that I want. Now, for me, I file just a general residential homestead. If you're a disabled person, you get in another homestead. If you're a person age 65 or older, you get another homestead. 100% disabled veteran has a homestead, surviving spouse, a lot of different types of homesteads. Normally, it's a general residential homestead is what we want. And then just a couple questions asking if you've had a homestead before. It asks for your property information and owner information. This is just so easy, you guys. You sign this, you send in the 4 documents, you send it into the county, and it should automatically update your tax liabilities. If you have questions, there's all kinds of stuff right here to help you. But also something that I like about Harris County, y'all, is you can call them. I'm gonna look at you guys. They have their phone number right here and they're open at 8 a.m. I absolutely love talking to Harris County generally. And in conclusion, I hope other states, I hope other counties have the type of relief that Texas has. I absolutely love this state. I understand why so many people are living here. In fact, I moved here from California because, to be quite frank, you guys, I could no longer afford to even live in California. So I love it here. Hopefully other states, especially states like Florida, where there's so many retired homeowners, have some type of cap or some type of additional homestead relief. And other than that, guys, I really hope you guys have a great night tonight. Happy Monday. And if you're out there investing in real estate, you know I wish you luck and I hope you win.